Come, Nerevar, come, let's rank even more false gods. I am talking about the current Aedra, known as the Nine Divines. They all belong in the F tier Nerevar, but if there were a tier list within the F tier, it would be this one right here. I understand that there is a much larger list that with Lorkhan, Anu, Pandame, and other Aedra. However, compiling that whole list is taking me a whole era. For now, enjoy this current Aedra tier list. Let us start with Akatosh, the dragon god of time and retcon that no one ever asked for. He is also known as Auriel, and by other names. He is also widely regarded as the head honcho of the Nine Divines and acts like a petulant child when he does not get his way. The Septim dynasty of the mongrel dogs of the Empire had a strong bond with him, but in a way, he betrayed them. He failed at his job as the main god of the Nine Divines if his mission was to keep Mundus safe from destruction. Martin Septim became the avatar of Akatosh and turned into a statue after kicking out Mehrunes Dagon. I mean, seriously, Nerevar, why would he turn his most devout follower into a statue? The weakening of the Empire does not sadden me, in fact it makes me happy. However, Akatosh brought great instability to the region, causing the formation of Thalmor, who wanted to destroy Mundus by dismantling the Adamantine Tower. Also, Alduin is the firstborn of Akatosh, need I remind you, who unleashed a bunch of cliff racers that can breathe fire upon Skyrim. Oh, don't forget about the dragon breaks that will probably be used to explain away the plot of Skyrim. He did the same thing as Azura. You destroyed the heart. Nerevar and Bardau just came crashing, causing the Red Year. C-tier only because he is powerful. Let's get Talos out of the way as well while we are at it. First of all, I am torn on this one because Talos is technically Lorkhan. On the one hand, I am with the Thalmor on this one because I can't stand a human Enwa being a god. Why should the founder of the mongrel dogs of the Empire be a god? On the other hand, I am also a god bound to the heart of Lorkhan. Generally, I find Talos to be useless. However, I do acknowledge him being fused with Lorkhan. The Stormcloaks are fighting to restore Talos worship, which I find to be pointless. Also, Heimskr screaming Talos, Talos, Talos in Whiterun about Talos gets quite annoying. At the end of the day, he is not as bad as Akatosh C-tier. Next is Mara, the mother goddess. Goddess of love, marriage, and all things that make me sick, Nerevar. Marriages are facilitated in the temples of Mara. Just wear an amulet of Mara, and you are on Tamriel's equivalent of Tinder. But everyone swipes right while you swipe left with Keening. Her quests usually involve bringing couples together or something. Also, Maramal in the Temple of Mara in Riften is making some serious gold by selling those amulets. Especially when you install the mod, when you can marry more than once, he makes a lot of money. Overall, Mara's quests are underwhelming, to be honest with you. C-tier. Let's move on to Dibella, otherwise known as the goddess of netch jelly ectoplasm, usable Quama foragers, minotaur horns, and the goddess of the lusty Argonian maid. Oh, you know what I am trying to say, Nerevar. If you find her statue in your wife's bedroom, I hate to break it to you, Moon and Star, but that marriage is over. Your wife's lover is probably hiding somewhere in the house. If you go to one of the temples of Dibella, though, you are in for a grand old time. I've heard they have the wildest parties, Nerevar. She's definitely the goddess of A-tier caliber, but that's just because I had no one else I could put in A-tier. Kynareth is hard to explain. She is the goddess of nature, basically. She is connected to trees, animals, the sky, the water, and all this other stuff that the nature-loving Kumbaya Enwas can't stop talking about. She's one of the main deities of the Forsworn, which makes her lose a lot more points. She is basically the eco-activist goddess of Nirn, like that one Nord girl you might recognize. Also, the Springans can get very old very fast as they don't stop screaming like mandrake roots. I really don't enjoy the critters that live in her forests. They are all so generic and boring. A bear, a snake, an eagle. What else? Do you see any forests on Red Mountain? I thought not. That is how much I respect Kynareth, D-tier. As I have mentioned, I am working on a God tier list for all of them. Unfortunately, the Dwemer disappeared with all of their complete tier lists, so I have to build everything from scratch. Also, who does the Dreadfather thinks he is to rush me, Lucien? I'd rather you subscribe to my teachings and wait for the complete list to be released in the near future.
Lord Dagoth, Sithis is technically the reason why the Aedra exist. It's not just Sithis. Where are the other gods that are responsible for the creation of Mundus? Are you not going to talk about Magnus? This is a betrayal of the Elder Scrolls community. You don't want me to perform the Black Sacrament and get a contract on you, do you? I will be waiting, Lord Dagoth. If I don't get that full list within a week, I will unleash the wrath of Sithis upon you. You will regret neglecting your duties to your dreamers. I will take over all of your work if you neglect to fulfill your promise. Tick-tock, tick-tock, Dagoth Ur.
What an annoying enwa! Just leave my sight already. Nerevar and I are having a private conversation here. I have a tier list to finish and you're not letting me. Go shoo, scram vamus, moving on. Arkay, the god of the cycle of life and death, can also be found in other pantheons. He is plastered across the cemeteries of Tamriel. His origins are unknown. One theory states he could have been a mortal priest once, which makes it ironic that he now claims to own the life cycle. Enwa, you literally escaped that cycle, and now you are trying to justify it? Is this how you honor the sixth house and the tribe unmourned? I am a god, but I don't deny that I once was a mortal. In any case, though, his importance to the life cycle in Mundus cannot be denied. I will give him a generous B tier. Stendarr is a very unnecessary deity, don't get me wrong. Most of the false gods are, but this one takes the sweet role, god of justice and lawfulness. What is law and justice in his opinion? It differs from province to province, and he supports imperial law. The mongrel dogs of the Empire like him, especially the Imperial Legion for that reason. He is also associated with Talos, which makes him lose even more brownie points. Don't forget he is also responsible for the vigilance of Stendarr, a militant group fighting against vampires in Daedra. D-tier Zenithar is the god of honest work and commerce, otherwise known as the Enwa, who is responsible for all these merchants ripping you off everywhere you go. Sure, his amulet gives you better prices by a meager 10%, but I expected more from him. His worshippers claim that he is the god that will always win, but in practice, he is already a loser for being a false god and just plain dull. Also, everything he creates comes from Kynareth, D-tier Nerevar. Julianos is the god of destroying you with facts and logic. I appreciate that he is the false god of knowledge, and his followers maintain large swaths of information. He has blind monks guarding his relics. He is the only false god that belongs in the S tier because storing information is really more helpful than these other ones do. Thank you for your undivided attention, Nerevar. You think this list is incomplete? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. There will be another tier list of all Aedra, for which I am using the tools of Kagrenak. Please honor the sixth house and the tribe unmourned by pressing the appropriate Dwemer buttons.
I also want to thank everyone for becoming a 6,000-strong legion of adoring fans of this channel. Stay tuned for more great content. Don't forget to join the Discord server.